Welcome and good evening. This is the planning board meeting for October 16th. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local channel 8 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. And I guess we're supposed to ask if anybody's recording or filming or anything like that in the audience. So seeing nothing, we will go on to the case number PB 2024-12, 30 Maria Road. Is it Maria or no?
No,
Maria Ave.
No, we start with Martha.
Martha Ave.
Let's start with
Oh.
Martha,
I'm
Martha.
sorry.
maybe 2024.
Apologize, folks. Gonna do that again. We're gonna start with PB 2024-11, 15 Martha Avenue. Map 10, parcel 200, Alan Cabot, owner, Don Delaney, applicant, seeks site plan approval, residential pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw, section 7.4, residential lot intensity, and section 10.3, site plan approval residential to construct a 20 by 24, 576 square feet garage resulting in site coverage of 2,805 square feet on a lot containing 19,000 square feet, where the site coverage of the accessory building causes the site coverage ratio to be equal to 15% of the lot area and or equal to or greater than 2,000 square feet. So, would the applicant please come forward or?
I'll come forward.
Okay.
You want to proceed with or
So is that what, if Brian were to show up in 5 minutes, is he not sitting in on this first?
he can be seated if he shows up and the board seats him, but basically you need 3 out of 4 for an approval.
We can wait if you'd like to. I mean, it's up.
Well, at my core, I don't feel it's a very controversial project, but then again, I don't know for sure. I might wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do, we can do the approval of the meeting minutes.
Okay. Sounds good. At any rate, we're going to go to the approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at them?
Yes.
I don't know why, but my name was left off in multiple places.
All right, I did the minutes, so they're probably not,
And mine was put in twice.
Okay,
Good job.
we can
Amend
amend
that.
that, yeah.
okay.
What happens when I do the minutes?
Other than that, is there any discussion?
No.
No, but good to me.
Can I have a motion to accept the minutes for September 18th?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like,
Aye.
We say the minutes pass.
I'll see if I can call Brian, see if he knows what.
Okay. Um,
Does 30 Maria Road want to go?
I'm not sure if we should change things without Paul. Okay, and then.
Hi, we just want to introduce ourselves. We're the owners of 52 Bow Road and just want to listen in and ask some questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I wanted to test and make sure you could hear me. Thank you. I'm gonna put myself back on mute.
You're not gonna get out of here in an hour.
Well, it's not right if it's late.
But I heard somebody.
You thinking I'm hearing footsteps, so it's just a heating system.
I keep thinking it was him coming down.
Here he is, no.
You wouldn't know there's a heating system in this building.
Sorry?
This building never feels like it has a heating system.
And I'm really hearing noises. I am,
Right,
could be Halloween haunting.
that's true.
It'd be better, actually. I mean, they did a lot of work on it.
Yeah. No, I know, I'm just always cold in this building.
Well, this is weird. We have to keep taping because they opened the meeting. Right.
It's live TV. I mean, maybe I shouldn't bring this down now. I don't know. Okay, let's bring it down.
Okay. That's right. We shouldn't be hearing you.
Yeah, I saw there was one up there.
Can we take them out of order?
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
let's just move forward.
This is a good one for you to.
He's not gonna come.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you gotta go with what we got.
Let's do it with what we have.
It sounds like that Brian will not be coming to the meeting. So we're gonna, it's up to you. I suppose you can ask for, you're willing to do this?
You can proceed with 4, or you can ask for a continuance till the next meeting when we have a full.
Yeah, I can ask for a continuance anywhere along here, though, correct?
Could.
Not expecting. I don't think it's controversial. My name is Bob Freeman. I'm here representing the owners. I believe the name is pronounced Chabot. I'm with Schofield Brothers out of Orleans. We did the site plan and the septic and the conservation. For those of you who are out there, the existing house obviously is undergoing some renovations now, some small expansions, but none of that would have triggered a site plan review application. The owners opted to add on the garage and then that brought us over the 2,000 square foot. Well, and the increase in size. So that's the garage is the crux of the project that we're here for. We did include all of the area for the house, including the additions and the decks and everything there. The project is the construction of a 24-foot by 24-foot single-story garage built pretty much in the existing driveway area. If you were out there, that we staked it out and it was pretty much front and center. It's been before the Eastham Conservation Commission and has been approved there, and they've received an order of conditions. There's a new septic system designed for the site going up in the northeast corner. That needed a couple of variances before the Board of Health, and that has been obtained. So as usual, you are the last on the list. So like I say, the garage is sited within an existing driveway area. That whole front yard is almost all parking and driveway. You saw the old foundation there from that sad story a long time ago. I've got a picture of what they're hoping the garages will look like. There's one in the neighborhood that they. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
That one's detached.
Yes. And there was kind of a large house and it turned out that the garage kind of makes the house not quite so large, and we're anticipating the same here, that the garage is going to block quite a bit of the house. It shows on the site plan, the proposed gravel driveway and a little bit of a turnaround there, and a little parking area for the boat alongside the garage. There's not a lot of replanting shown here because we're not really taking anything out. There's an existing buffer around the lot, pretty much we're not looking at touching. The septic system is butted right up against some existing vegetation, but that's on the plan, what you're seeing around there is a 5-foot overdig. So that's just depending on the soils they run into. Gonna be a white, like the picture says, white cedar shingles on the side. They are gonna be using asphalt on the roofing, be matching the house and the garage. And that's really pretty much the extent of the project.
Were you planning at one time to use the old garage?
That's the sad story, as I say, that garage foundation is not in compliance with the building setbacks, which is partly why it's only a foundation, So no.
Okay. Well, I just got confused on some of your drawings. It says like replace rotted sills and remove remove wooden stairs. There's nothing there, but on the drawing you have these inconsistencies.
Where are you seeing remove wooden stairs that aren't there? They've already been taken out, you mean?
On A2-1.
Now you're getting into the architect's drawings.
What's that?
You're getting into the building drawings. Those are not mine.
That's not the site.
Oh, okay.
We did the site plan, but I'm still wondering where you're looking there.
Huh?
I have a different file. I don't have. You have that?
I
I
mean,
think on A21, the
Oh.
garage floor plans.
Yeah.
It says replace rotted sill as required. Is that what you're referencing?
yeah,
Oh, here it is.
plus
Yeah.
the stairs.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm wondering if it was originally intended to be on the existing foundation, but if they're just doing everything from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's in a different location. I
And
think
I'm
when you
not-
go out to the site, if you're looking at the house from the street, that old foundation is like on the right.
Yes,
Correct.
And
yeah.
right, and close to the
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. The
Completely
new one's gonna be on the
standalone.
left, yeah.
There was a set of stairs in front of the house
Yeah, it's,
that probably got taken out when they put that little bump out on the front of the house.
Well, this is a garage level plan. That's all I'm getting at. I was just confused. There can't be any stairs there because there are no stairs. So how can you remove them?
Okay. You're looking at the different set of plans that I've got here in front of me. You're looking at just the garage plans, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, there's no second story, there's no stairs. I don't know why those would be on there like that.
I'm just not sure, Paul. Do they need to correct all this stuff?
Well, I think for consistency, we should have a set. I don't think it's critical to a decision today, assuming the overall dimensions and the placement of the garage are as is shown on the site plan. So we just wanted to have a corrected floor plan that shows that there is no, because you're saying there is
Yeah,
no
I don't know
second
why
floor.
that's there.
So you can make it a condition of, assuming you approve it, you can have a condition of approval that prior to the issuance of a building permit, get the cleaned up version, and as long as it's consistent with what got approved. You can
Okay.
handle it that way.
Well, I'm gonna open it up to the other members of the board and see what they have to say. Michelle?
Sure. So thanks, yeah. And I've been out to the site and it is hard to turn around there even now. I mean, and I know there's a lot of space, so the big setback change is gonna be in the front, correct? I mean, it's going from, you know, a 97-foot setback to a much smaller set because the
Yeah.
garage is gonna be there. So my big question, and I don't have an issue with placement or anything, is the turnaround radius and can cars get in and out of there? And there is a road right there as well.
There is a case.
You're gonna be able to.
No, I know there's a K-turn, but I'm trying to envision how big the garage is gonna be from where, I mean, there's nothing there now, so.
From the existing
From the street,
road
it's gonna be
surface, it'll be
31
about
foot.
40 feet.
Yeah.
You know, another 10 feet from this
Right.
sideline of the road. There should be plenty of room for them to be able to pull into the garage, back out and pull out forward. Actually, I tried it out the other day after I
You
staked
did?
it out.
Okay, that was my question.
And I've got a big white Chevy van, so.
Okay. That's it. Other than that, I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Kevin?
Just something you had said a minute ago, as far as the garage, there's no second floor to it. The designs that were on here imply there's a second floor only because there's a window at either end.
Yeah,
But is it just open space inside?
yes.
Okay, so
Same way-
it's not even for
I've got a little
storage. or-
one-car garage at my house and I had to cut a little hole up in the ceiling so I could store my junk up there, but you can't.
But it's just for storage though.
Right, you can't even stand up in it.
Like a loft.
With that, that's really, no other questions really.
That answered all my questions. I was there and saw that turning around was a problem. And I looked at the plans, I brought them with me. I saw that that would work out good. I'm good as long as we put a contingency that they just revise the plans that they're filing to get rid of this, because this doesn't belong.
Paul, one other question that I had though was on the building plans and I know this doesn't have to do with you specifically, but for the basement, when you have a full bathroom with a shower in it, or a shower? Yeah, a shower. And then you have something that's labeled storage, but with a door that closes. Would you say that the Board of Health has looked at this and said okay to this?
The Board of Health will look at it before the building permit's issued. And
Oh.
if there's an issue
Okay.
about a bedroom count, it'd have to be addressed at that point. And then if changes are necessitated that would be beyond a de minimis change, the applicant would have to come back if it's not going to affect something in this decision. So they would be proceeding at their own risk.
I guess that's kind of it. So I'm gonna,
Any other?
oh, I'm sorry. Are there any people in the audience that wish to speak to this? And I'm not sure who's on.
Oh, Chris, he's got his hand raised.
Anybody on Zoom?
Oh, Chris,
Yes.
do you wanna speak to
Yes.
this?
Yes, this is Chris Athorn. We're at 5 Martha Avenue, so we're to the south side of the property at 15 Martha Avenue. So the garage is moving to our side of the property. My concern is you're talking about turnaround space in the driveway. During the summer, typically you have 3 to 4, if not 5 cars parked in that parking lot. And by the way you're describing it, it doesn't sound like there's going to be enough room to turn around. Do you make any limitations on how many cars can be in that driveway?
No, Paul, I don't think we can really.
No, but this would be part of the purview of discussing this site layout and the driveway and the parking area. So if it's anticipated that there's going to be a lot of activity, then the discussion would be, is this what's provided adequate parking, maneuvering, storage space?
Well, I mean, I suppose I mean, you have the K-turn, which looks like it could take 2 cars. And you have the garage itself, which could take 2 cars. And then you have the other
Boat's gonna be there.
driveway, which could take, like 1 or 2 cars, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at maximum capacity, you get 2 cars parked. 2 cars parked in the garage, like you said, 2 in the K-turn and then 2 in front of the garage doors, like if you have.
6.
But then you can't
6.
get the ones in the garage out if.
Well, they have to move them,
Right,
you know.
right,
move
so
'em
then,
around.
yeah, and I guess then it comes down to the nature of Martha Ave. It's a low volume road, no one's going in there except the
few
local residents, so I guess I would, I don't live in the neighborhood, so I'd have to defer to
Yeah.
the
May
neighbors,
I-
and owners
may
about
I
what the
say
traffic
something?
is.
Sure, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, it's a 1-lane private road. It's currently decent since the water lines were put in, but there's no way you can have 2-way traffic there. We do have trash picked up during the summer, so we have, they're the smaller trash trucks that come in. And from time to time, we have furniture trucks that come in to that road and will go to the very end where it's dead end. So, there is some traffic on that road. And there's a lot of walkers, so you've got to be careful when you're backing out. We back out of our driveway. We try to turn around if we can, but if not, we back out of our driveway and have to be careful.
Septic, H10 or H20?
Thank you.
I don't have the plan with me, but I think it's H10. But tucked over there.
An H20 design septic, you could design it so it could be driven over, support the weight of, but that's not what they're proposing.
I see the potential for 6 or 7 cars to be parked on their property, so I don't see that there's a real problem. I agree, Chris, that it's a 1-way street or lane. And we have many of those in the town, and you have to be careful. There's no question about that. People have to look to see if there's somebody there, and then they have to make a decision whether they pull over or back up or whatever. But other than being careful, I can't see that we can really do too much. Does anybody on the board want to speak to that, or?
I think it's, again, we can't govern how many cars can be in any driveway or garage at any one time. It's just how it's used by the property owner, and it's incumbent on the property owner to make sure that any guests that are arriving in their own use is safe within the neighborhood. I agree, you can get probably 2 cars into the K-turn, 2 into the garage, stacking them on the other side, the proposed gravel driveway. Even the square, as you first look at it, it's a 31-foot distance from property line back to the corner of the garage. So may take a 3 or 4 point turn to get a car around, but I think there's ample space there for a car to turn around just in the square in front of the garage. And again, care is always needed when you have narrow streets and that kind of thing, but I think there's enough space there to hold a good volume of vehicles and still be safe with it if the people are smart, that's all.
I just wanted to add, you're actually going to see less cars, because
Yeah,
if they are
they'll be in a
using the
building.
garage, if they have 6 cars on the property now, which is just sitting out in the yard, when you drive by, if they have 6 cars with this, you're only going to see 4.
Michelle?
Nothing to add. That was my main concern. Given, yeah, I mean, that the vast
Mhm.
area that you see now is going to be covered with a building, and the folks are just going to have to be really careful about fitting cars in there and not off on the street. And then safety is always an issue too. I mean, on a 1-lane road, safety is always an issue. Even without a large volume of vehicles. And so backing out is going to become a challenge. So that was the first thing,
Yep.
the only issue that I saw in this plan.
My wife's parents have a house 2 doors down here, and I'm on the road quite a bit, and
I
yeah,
bet.
it's.
Yeah.
You gotta
all one-lane roads
Yep.
have hazards associated with them regardless.
Yes.
And then you add, volume of, I know that you're not before us because of the structure was already pre-approved, but now this adds, so already there's going to be a larger structure which can house more people, right, than potentially was existing before. So anyway, I'm okay with what we have.
With that, I think I will ask for a motion for the findings of facts.
Do you want
Yeah, read the
to read
proposed.
them?
You gotta read.
Yeah.
I'm happy to read them if I want, it's easier.
Sure, if you'd like to.
The Eastham Planning Board finds that number one, the property is located at 15 Martha Lane and is located in the residential zoning district. Number two, the applicant has applied for site plan approval residential pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw, section 7.4 residential lot intensity, section 10.3 site plan approval residential to construct a 24 by 24, 576 square foot garage resulting in site coverage of 2,805 square feet on a lot containing 19,000 square feet where site coverage for an accessory building causes a site coverage ratio to be equal to 15% of the lot area or equal to or greater than 2,000 square feet. Number three, the proposed project does not negatively impact existing native vegetation and soil or grade changes. The project has received approval from the Eastham Conservation Commission for work within the 100-foot buffer to the resource area. A condition of approval will require that a minimum of 50% of any new plantings installed outside the resource area buffer be native species compatible with the existing natural vegetation on the lot and surrounding area. Number four, the proposed project does relate harmoniously to the terrain and to the use, scale, and proportions of the existing proposed buildings in the neighborhood. The maximum site coverage permitted under bylaw section 7.4.3 is 2,850 square feet or 15%. The existing site coverage is 2,204 square feet, 11.6%. The proposed total site coverage would be 2,805 square feet or 14.8%, an increase of 601 square feet. The lots or 3.2%. The lot size is 19,000 square feet. Number five, the prevailing characteristics of the neighborhood are preserved by the plan as presented. Proposed garage utilizes classic architectural features such as a pitched roof, double hung windows. The existing dwelling features are a more contemporary design with varied angled roof lines and a variety of window sizes and configurations. However, there are similar roof forms common to both structures which should provide a harmonious balance to the overall site. Proposed additions to the dwelling will utilize the same roof pitch and architectural details as the existing structure. The additions will blend with the current structure. There are examples of contemporary house designs with similar roof shapes in the surrounding neighborhood. Number six, the proposed project does avoid impacts on steep slopes, floodplains, hilltops, dunes, scenic views, and wetlands. The project has received approval from the Eastham Conservation Commission for work within the 100-foot buffer to the resource area. The existing building height will remain the same. No negative impacts to scenic views of abutting properties is anticipated. Number seven, the proposed project does not have existing unique or significant environmental resources. The project has received approval from the Eastham Conservation Commission for work within the 100-foot buffer to the resource area. Eight, the proposed site plan does maximize the convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and relationship to adjacent ways. Martha Lane is a low-volume local access road with limited traffic. The proposed changes to the driveway provide ample maneuvering and parking space on site. Number nine, one abutter appeared in interest at the hearing and 0 letters were received.
Could I have a motion to approve the findings of facts?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Can I ask a question here? And actually, there's two of them. Item number 3. I was surprised about the 50% of any new planting installed outside of the resource area. Is that's different than I read in your regulations. There's no mention of any limitation on the lot like that.
Well, in this case, since you have an order of conditions that specifies the work in the resource area. I assume the planning board doesn't want to get involved with that and disturb
I-
what is, so,
But we're putting in 2,000 square feet of beach grass in that
right, but you're also,
resource area.
so the planning board has jurisdiction over the whole site.
Mhm.
The staff report is reflecting a deferment to the area of the resource area. Let that stay with whatever the conservation order conditions was. So then we're left with the area of the rest of the site
Outside there,
outside the
yep.
resource area, which the planning board has purview over. The regulations state that 50% of any new plantings on the site should be native plants. So this is reflecting the fact that we don't want to get involved with the resource area and what's already been decided. So
But you're taking away the planting that they're already putting in on the percentage. If
It-
there's,
are there new plantings proposed outside the resource area? That's what it said on the site plan.
yes,
Okay, so 50% of those
50%,
should be native plantings.
seems like the percentage gonna be 50% of that small area versus 50% of the planting they've
Well, we
already put
can
in.
discuss that and get into further detail if you want to dispute. But I was trying to
I'm not
make
trying
it
to
simple.
dispute, I'm trying to get it,
I was trying to make it simple to say we don't want to get involved with undoing and retracing what the Conservation
Okay.
Commission has done. So the remaining area, the planning board could get into the whole site and start talking about all the plantings, and we can get into the order of conditions. I felt it was simpler just to take the 50% off of the area outside the resource area.
you understand what I'm looking at
I'm
there?
saying, yeah, but I'm saying, I mean, it's up to the board, but I'm just saying the alternative is to look at the whole site. And if you, so the board can get involved with the whole site and what's proposed. That's going to be a lot more discussion and work in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'm not trying to get into that. The entire site within the 100-foot buffer zone is in a natural state. And plus another 2,000 feet of,
So how,
I'm just trying not to get,
some percentage of those plantings outside the resource area have to be native.
yes, and I'm
species.
not,
So if you want to calculate how much space is left outside the buffer zone and come back to the board and we'll figure out what the right percentage is, we can do that. Otherwise, I felt it was simpler just to say 50% of whatever else you're planting outside the buffer zone should be native species. And
Okay.
there isn't a list provided of what it says ornamental plantings on the site plan. So
Hmm.
what is really required is a list of the plantings.
Okay.
So that's why I put the condition in. So I guess we should make sure that everyone's comfortable with that condition before we go any further. But it's totally up to you and the board how you want to handle it. If you want to have more specificity on the exact percentage outside the buffer zone, that's totally fine.
I mean, we could ask for a landscape plan.
well, I mean, I kind of think that's what we're somewhat looking at anyway. I don't know how you'd have, we just say we're gonna put in, 10 different plants. We'd be coming up with something at the time of the building permit application.
Right, well, the site plan. The site plan shows existing vegetation. And it shows on the front part, ornamental plantings in front of fence. That's all I see specified. So it looks like there's 4 plantings of some sort. So is that all that's being planted outside the resource area for new plantings?
Probably not. They want a vegetable garden, they want flower gardens, so,
So
but they don't have that stuff nailed down at this time, they don't know. what
that's
they're-
part of the site plan review.
Okay, well, let's go on with it then.
So we can continue the hearing and come back and discuss that, or the condition could be that you simply provide a list of native plantings equal to 50% of what you're gonna put outside the resource area, and then we can just make that contingent. Once that's received, the building, if assuming this gets approved, the building permit would be issued. And we don't have to come back to the board, but I'm saying all this, it's obviously up to the board how they wanna proceed, but.
Members, what do you think? I think that going along with the 50% is the best option here, and with you providing a list of what you're actually what types of plants you're actually going to, install, and we can go forward.
Do that.
And you had some other questions about?
They were related.
Okay. So I guess with that, well, should we vote again, Paul, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the findings of fact.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion for the proposed standard conditions. Paul, I'll read these if you don't. Or you
It's up to the board if you want to read them or not. They're the standard
They're the
conditions.
standard.
Standard,
There's
so we
nothing-
don't have to-
Yeah.
However, we need to,
Assuming that the applicant, you have any concerns about the standard conditions?
No.
So then the only question would be if the board wants to add. The additional conditions would be number 11 about
Yes.
providing the information, and
Yeah.
number 12 would be providing the revised. Applicant shall submit revised garage floor plans. Showing removal of the interior staircase prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Yep.
I need a motion
So
to,
moved.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You're all set, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. Now we're going on to
Remember, yeah.
case number PB 2024-1230 Maria Road. Map 10, parcel 144, Tracey and Frank Dean, owners and applicants, seek site plan approval. Residential pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaws, section 7.4, residential lot intensity. And section 10.3, site plan approval, residential, to demolish an existing single-family dwelling and construct a new family dwelling with a proposed site coverage of 3,120 square feet on a lot containing 30,000 square feet, where the site coverage ratio exceeds 3,000 square feet. Okay. Please come up.
Thank you. My name is Sibella Santogrel and I'm with SA Architecture, so I'm the architect of record. And with me here is Frank and Tracey Dean. And they're also their daughter and son-in-law are online.
Okay.
And they are young architects and they are the ones who actually designed the house. So that's why I'm the architect of record.
Okay.
And what we would like to, I'll just do a brief presentation
Please.
and then any questions that you may have, of course. So the, as the application states, there's an existing structure, a house, single-family dwelling on the lot. And it's going to be demolished and replaced with new. And the architecture is very Cape Cod local, as we were saying, reminiscent of old fishing structures. And the reason why we're before you is just that we would like to make the detached garage 120 square feet more than what we would be allowed. And that is basically to be able to get two small vehicles in that garage instead of one single vehicle. And it's the house and the garage is in line with what the town has also specified in a lot of the criterias. And Frank and Tracey Dean are longtime residents of Eastham. They've been living here since the 90s in other locations. They've had this house for about 3 years, and this is their permanent home. And so given that scenario, they just wanted to be able to have a newer house and also have a detached garage that could house 2 vehicles. And with that, I will leave it to you, please, with any questions that we could answer.
I kind of like it myself. So. Michelle, do you have any questions?
Not really, other than just and I know it was written up in our packet, the style is, I know it's like the library and Nauset High School, but it's not similar to the other houses in the neighborhood. And, you know, having been in situations like that where somebody puts a stucco home in the middle of a shingled, you know, neighborhood, it's a little different. So maybe whoever wants to address the thinking behind that and sort of the coherence with the style of the neighborhood versus doing something so different. I was just wanting a little more information on that.
Certainly. So as I said, their daughter and son-in-law, they designed this particular house and they did a lot of research in the area, and they do realize that it is different than the other immediate houses. Although, as you know, we said, not too far down on just a walking distance, there are homes that looks actually very similar to this style. So they felt that as young architects, that this would be very appropriate for the family to have this kind of a structure, you know, the architecture style. And they liked the way that it connected to other architecture in the area going back. It's not current, it's not contemporary, but going back quite a long time in history to the fishing, you know, villages, that the structures of that kind. And then when you look at also even some of the modern house trust homes that we see in Wellfleet, in many other parts of the Cape, and that has quite a long-standing history as well. And those structures are now considered actually historic as well.
Yeah.
And so that was their concept behind it, and they felt that it also gave them an opportunity to connect with the neighborhood in a different way, that perhaps, you know, not all the houses are exactly all the same either. They do have a little bit of variation even in the neighborhood. So it seemed like this wasn't really going to stand out as being so different. It's not, you know, your typical double sloped roof.
Mhm.
That is
Right.
true. But that's why also then they worked very hard to keep the scale down so
Mhm.
that
I appreciate
it
that.
was more in line with what is there already. So like the
Yes,
single
thank you.
story aspect on the street side versus putting the 2-story smaller structure in the back, detaching the garage. So they paid quite a lot of attention to trying to keep the scale small.
Yeah, and that we definitely appreciate that. Thank you for that. And certainly you have some support from neighbors. I don't know if any of them are here, but certainly they wrote that they appreciate you and your design. That's it.
Okay.
Not a lot of questions on it. I appreciate the scale design that we had in our packet. Yeah, it's got a second story in the building structure in the back, but you barely notice it, which is much appreciated. The comment, I was also following Michelle here in terms of comments about other buildings in town having a similar style. Somewhat tongue in cheek, if you don't mind. I hope that, you know, the library being one of the structures that was cited, hopefully the roofer on this one will have a better luck with the roofing and no leaks, as unfortunately the library has suffered more than once. I live across the street from it, so you see that a lot. But I really don't have any particular questions or particular concerns with it.
Quick question. What type of landscaping are you planning on doing to maybe just break up the lines and stuff? I like design also. Reminds me of the houses along, if you drive along the water in Wellfleet on the ocean side, you know, or the colony, the cottage colony that has the 50s kind of look to it. What are your plans as far as plantings and stuff? Did I miss them, guys?
Yeah, there was some detail, they
Not a
looking to maintain the oak tree
Okay,
that's in the front, and then they were proposing white pines, American beech, winterberry, high bush blueberries, tulip trees, inkberry. Most of those
our natives.
are natives.
Great.
They wish to keep it very simple and do more native plantings, and most important, that large tree, they want to retain that.
I like that.
Good. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this? Unfortunately, I'm not sure that your children are still.
Yeah, they may not have been able to do that work.
Okay. So at any rate, with that, I think, unless there's any further discussion.
Nope.
We'll seek a motion to the findings of fact.
Just a correction of note on the findings of fact. Number one, the copy I have here describes the
30.
property at 15 Martha Lane. I think it's just a carryover from the previous one, but that would just need to be
Martha
corrected
Road.
to reflect this address.
Yep.
Excuse me.
The Eastham Planning Board finds that number one, the property is located at 30 Martha Lane.
Maria.
Oh, yeah.
Maria, sorry, I did it again. Sorry.
Too many
30
screens.
30 Maria Lane, and is located in the residential zoning district. Number two, the applicant has applied for site plan approval residential pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw, section 7.4, residential lot intensity, section 10.3, site plan approval residential to demolish an existing single-family dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling with a proposed site coverage of 3,120 square feet on a lot containing 30,000 square feet, where the site coverage ratio exceeds 3,000 square feet. Number three, the proposed project does not negatively impact existing native vegetation, soil, or grade changes. The site is not located within any resource areas. The existing oak tree located in front of the property will remain and be protected and maintained. The existing decaying pine trees and shrubs in the area of construction will be removed. New landscaping will include the following: white pine on the back north side of the property, American beech, winterberry on the east facing sides of the property, Christmas fern between the proposed dwelling and garage, high bush blueberries along the front south facing, tulip trees along the west facing, and inkberry along and around the west facing portion, proposed deck at the rear. Number four, the proposed project does relate harmoniously to the terrain and to the use scale and proportions of the existing and proposed buildings in the neighborhood. The maximum site coverage permitted under bylaw section 7.4.3 is 3,600 square feet. 3,600 square feet. The existing site coverage is 1,016 square feet, or 3.4%. The proposed total site coverage will be 3,120 square feet, or 10.4%, an increase of 2,104 square feet, or 7%. The lot size is 30,000 square feet. The proposed project integrates passive design strategies along with a highly insulated building enclosure, use of high efficiency mechanical systems, an installation of solar photovoltaic renewable energy production system to create a sustainable home as the current building and energy codes dictate. In order to accomplish this within a reasonable budget for cost construction, the proposed dwelling and garage were designed to be simple in form and size using traditional construction materials and methods. Number 5, the prevailing characteristics of the neighborhood are preserved by the plan as presented. The design of the proposed dwelling and garage was inspired by old fishing shacks of the Outer Cape with simple structures and single sloped roofs. The exterior materials will be in natural cedar wood shingles as consistent with the local architecture and with the immediate neighborhood. Windows and doors are similar to other homes in the neighborhood in size and style. There are existing homes near the proposed project with similar single sloped roof structures. They are located on the bay side within a 10-minute walk from the property. Following two properties are such examples at 31 Martha Avenue, located approximately 1,750 square feet radius from the proposed project, and 45 Long Street Lane. The design of single sloped roof structures is also consistent with other recently constructed buildings in town, such as the Eastham Library, National Seashore, Nauset Life Facilities, and the Nauset High School. Number 6, the proposed project does avoid impact on steep slopes, floodplains, hilltops, dunes, scenic views, and wetlands. The site is not located within any resource areas. No detrimental impacts have been identified. Number 7, the proposed project does not have existing, unique, or significant environmental resources. The site is not located within any resource areas. No detrimental impacts have been identified. 8, the proposed site plan does maximize the convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and in relationship to adjacent ways. Maria Road is a low-volume road used primarily by residents and is not, I got a typo here, wrong kind of not, and is not open to through traffic. The driveway and garage will provide adequate parking space. No detrimental traffic impacts have been identified. No abutters appeared in interest at the hearing. There were 3 letters received in support of the project.
And with that, I would like to have a motion to accept the findings of fact.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now I need a motion for the proposed standard conditions.
So moved.
Second.
We need to read them first.
No, they're the
No,
standard
we don't. They're
conditions.
Oh, they're all
Right.
Do you
standard?
have
Yeah.
any issues with the standard conditions?
No issues.
Okay.
Okay,
All in favor?
need a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you're all set.
You need to vote to approve. You approve the
Oh,
findings, you approve the
okay.
conditions. Now you just need one vote to actually approve the whole project.
Could I have a motion to approve
So moved.
PB 2024-12 at the 30 Maria Road?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This one.
You're all set.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
On to the last one. Now we'll go to case number PB 2024-13, 46 Bow Road rear, map 07, parcel 482, Brian and Verena Sepella?
Yeah.
Owners and applicants seek site plan approval residential pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw, section 7.4 residential lot intensity, and section 10.3 site plan approval residential to construct a new dwelling unit and attach to an existing single-family dwelling to create a duplex. Are we still calling it a duplex, Paul?
That was the original case, so we'll amend that in the findings that.
Okay.
project was.
With a proposed site coverage of 4,547 square feet on a lot containing 87,745 square feet, where the site coverage ratio exceeds 3,000 square feet. This is an ambitious
Mhm.
project, to say the least. And with that, would you like to present?
Sure. For the record, my name is Jason Ellis, representing Brian and Brianna Sapala. My first question, after discussing the situation with the board tonight, we think I think leaning towards doing a continuance until we have a full board. Do you anticipate that you would have a full board at the next meeting, or like when planning vacations or anything like that, okay,
I'm
if-
not.
okay. So I think that's what we would like to do, is continue so we could have the full complement of the board.
Okay. We just need to take a vote to allow the continuance, Paul, or do we go through?
It's up to the applicant if you want to get into any of the details, just introduce them, or.
Can we even do that with the board member not here?
So actually, I'm glad you raised it. So
That would be my concern too.
Yeah,
the
you
next-
can't.
At the
Yeah.
next meeting.
He couldn't vote if.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Right.
Well, at the next meeting, assuming Brian's here, in order to participate, he will need to review tonight's meeting, even though there's no
Nothing, yeah.
substance, but technically he'll review that. There's a form he fills out attesting that he's done the homework, and then he'll be ready to see. And then we assume I anticipate Dan will be back
I
for
would
next
think so,
meeting.
yeah.
Right. Our chair is
Or-
out.
He'll have to do the same.
If not, he'll be on
could zoom
Zoom.
in,
He
yeah.
could zoom in, and if he can't make it in.
Yeah, I think my clients would be more comfortable with the full complement than with the whole board, so.
Okay.
Okay,
The next meeting would be
20th.
20th.
Well, can I ask a question? Can the board take comment even though the whole board isn't here? Because some of us are here that may not be able to arrive, come at a later time. And so you're recording it, right?
Yeah.
You're taking down what's happening. So is it possible that we could comment?
Paul?
Yeah, you can, the board has discretion on how they want to proceed. So if you want, so you've opened the hearing technically, so you can take public comment. What I guess I would advise, just out of respect to the folks that are here and they may not come, you might want to take some public comment. The public hearing won't be closed, so even next week and next month, all the deliberation, all the back and forth, all the discussion can happen. You're just not planning on taking any
action tonight.
action tonight.
And that, just a question on that, Paul. For those who aren't here tonight, but hopefully will be here next month, do we have any transcripts or requirements that those folks
They have to listen
will
to
have
it.
access, they'll listen to it?
Listen
So
to it,
that
yeah.
when
They'll
everyone's
need
on the
to-
same page.
Yeah,
when
they're
they
gonna,
actually
yeah,
come.
they would have to listen to
That's
it.
good.
Yeah,
Which
they
is-
file an affidavit saying they've reviewed the material and they've watched the proceedings and that they're up to speed for the next meeting. So they will need to do that. So if they don't for some reason do that, they won't be eligible, but I don't
Yeah.
see why they wouldn't.
So I have a comment, and first of all, thank you all for coming. And as a board member, I find that all of your comments have huge impact. And just for my colleagues that are not here, I know you don't necessarily have time maybe to come back, but there is a Zoom option. So I'm just suggesting that you can sure make comments tonight, but it does have a huge impact for all of us to hear it after the case has been presented as well. So just want to put that out there.
But if you wouldn't mind, let me just ask you a question.
Well, excuse me, why don't you please come up to the podium here and state your
so-
name?
I guess just.
Yeah.
Does the board want to proceed with
No.
having some public input? And I guess I would also say that might be beneficial to the applicant if you hear things tonight, you can prepare to address any concerns.
Precisely, I would just think that if I would love to hear from the abutters also. I just don't want to make sure that by hearing that testimony tonight doesn't jeopardize the voting ability of any of the members that aren't here. That's all. That's all my concern, so.
I don't think so. I mean, they're not here tonight, so they're not seated.
Okay,
They'd have to do the
exactly,
procedure.
yeah. Yeah, as long as it
My
doesn't
view, I don't
jeopardize.
think it jeopardizes anything.
Okay.
As long as they do the
Yeah,
homework
I'm good
before.
with it.
so.
I think it
Yeah, I-
benefits.
Yeah, I would
the
favor it
applicant.
because if
Yep,
there's folks that
also.
can't make it next month, we won't get their opinion pro or con on it. So if whoever wants to speak whenever they can speak, that's fine.
Please step up to the podium and
I'm
say.
John Heron, 30 Boat Road, Northeast Ham. And so one of my questions was earlier tonight, you were talking about the fact that there was no verbal discussion and then no written letter on record. And so is writing as important or more important than the verbal that's on record?
Same.
It's the same.
The same.
Okay,
The
okay.
same.
And I don't want to speak for everybody here, but I do have some things, if you don't mind, that,
No, Go ahead.
Fire away.
yeah, so I'm not familiar. I've not been to one before, so we'll just lay out the thoughts and then I'll let other people talk too.
That's
Okay.
good.
So one of the questions that came up is this a duplex or not a duplex? So I know that you had the same question, Dave, about is this a duplex now or not? So that's one of the questions we had as to whether or not there's going to be a connection between these two buildings. Because I think there's going to be a building in the front and then a building in the back, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm not expecting you to
You
know,
don't have to
because,
respond.
the applicant's not, going forward, but that was one of the questions we had. What is the construction? The next thing that my wife and I have a concern about is the size of the building relative to the neighborhood. And so in our neighborhood, we have 13 buildings. All but one of those are 2,000 square foot or less. And so the average size, I would say, is 1,700 square feet. So you have 12, 11 that are less than 2,000 square feet. And we're talking about a 4,700 square foot home. And I don't think that includes the front building. And so I think that you're talking about something that is between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet, which, he's got 2 acres, so it fits like within your requirements, right? But our concern is that this is not consistent with the neighborhood. You're talking about bringing in a huge building. I think, Dave, you said it's aggressive or pretty big, and it is, right? It's going to be a really big building. So we have concerns about how does that fit into the neighborhood? I mean, clearly it fits on the lot, no issues, right? But the concern is that it's going to be, nothing like what else is currently there. And then another concern that I have is that it's going to be 6 bedroom, 6 bath that's proposed. But I think there's going to be 2 or 3 bedrooms in the front and one bath. So it's going to be 8 bedrooms and 7 baths, something like that, right? So our concern is that, it's a residential neighborhood, it's not a commercial neighborhood. And so what prevents that from turning into, Airbnb, where they have different people every night? And, if you have 8 or 9 bedrooms, how many vehicles, how many people are going to be coming through, and what's the control? So, we'll be there, right? Because we live right in the front. But, if you have 9 or 12 vehicles coming in and out on a consistent basis, that's concerning, right? It's like most of the street is here, and, there aren't that many people on the street. So we have real concerns about, what that potentially could look like. And I don't know what controls the town would have, right? So if they put in something this big, then what controls does the town put in place to say there cannot be 20 people who don't have the same last name in that building? So I don't know the answer to that, but that would be a concern that we would have. And then the concern also would be is, can they rent a room by night, by day, by week, by month? Or, if Brian and Brianna are going to live in it, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that, right? But if they have the ability to rent it by day and by room, we have concerns about that, right? Because that totally changes our neighborhood from a quiet residential, which is one lane road, and the road that this comes off of is a cinder road. And so that totally changes the dynamic of that road and that environment. So those are the concerns we have. Like, if Brian and Brianna are moving in, we don't have concerns with it, right? But if it's gonna turn into a commercial enterprise, then my wife and I have concerns. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thanks. And there may be other people who want to comment too, so.
Did a good job.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Please come up to the mic and state your name.
Mary Goodyear, I represent Josephine Fowler's Realty Trust. We abut on the north side of the property. There's a triangle of land that comes almost to our long driveway from Higgins. Some land in there has already been cleared. A small area of forest has been cleared and bulldozed. And I'm wondering if that's where the septic or the leach field is going to be for this project.
Yeah, we did test holes in there a couple weeks ago, but we didn't clear anything. There was a couple, maybe small saplings that came down, but that was it. I personally did it, so
Okay.
we did have to do 4 test holes in there because that's where the leach field's going, so.
All right, so it is a leach field.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anybody else? Come forward.
Paul Burns, I have property on 45 Bow Road and 70 Bow Road. I live there. My concern is with the heavy construction. The first half of Bow Road has been recently tarred. It's a private road. But the subbase of the road is basically sand. And we only had 2 inches of binder and 1.25 inches of top. If this project goes forward, can we make him have a performance bond in case our road gets tore apart, that'll get replaced?
Thank you. Is there anybody else out there that would like to speak?
Wayne Hastings, 20 Bow Road. John pretty much summed it up, and I guess I'm just going to voice my concern also as far as having such a large structure in the neighborhood doesn't fit with the rest of the area. It's a nice, quaint, quiet area now, and to have a 6 or 8 bedroom structure in there with a swimming pool, so forth. There's going to be much more noise, I'm sure. The builder also has a place on Higgins Road that has a multiple structure, and we hear the noise from his place that he rents out seasonally. So we're concerned about it's going to take the same type of situation. I'm kind of lost for words here. The concern is that it's going to be the same kind of situation that is down off of Higgins Road now with the swimming pool and multiple structures that he rents out. Again, I've been here 24 years. The neighborhood's been very quiet. We all get along together. Again, it's Cape Cod quaintness. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak? So I guess
Need a motion to
I just
continue.
had one question that is to prep for next week on the next month on the site plan. It says the existing garage to be converted to the pool house. And the revised plan basically converting the cottage to the pool house, so
I'll clarify that.
just whatever the
Okay.
game plan is for that.
Yep, I'll find out.
Please come up.
We have a dug well. It's about 16 feet deep. And I have a concern about the water that's going to be coming out of the aquifer to be filling up the swimming pool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I guess at this point, we want to make a motion to reschedule. To, what is it, September 20th? Continue to September,
November.
November
20th.
20th.
Yeah, long wait.
I know, September.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you all for coming.
And as was stated earlier, if you can make it next month, terrific. If you can't, you can come in by Zoom or pop a letter in the mail and address it to the planning
Letters,
board
they're
office,
Good. to
just to make sure your voices are heard
Email.
either way.
It'll
Be on the agenda that'll be posted on the
town website.
town calendar, the website.
Okay.
Thank you.
And is that it?
Motion to close the meeting.
Well, we did the minutes. Is there any other business?
Just.
Yeah.
What?
First, they may need to do the unanimous vote.
Oh, yeah, so
Take a vote.
we should go back and
To Martha.
15 Martha.
15
Avenue.
Martha, just make sure we
I need,
did the final vote to actually approve it.
I need
Oh.
confirmation too. You guys spoke really quick with the findings and facts. I did not see who said what.
Approve the whole thing
Okay.
for 15 Martha.
Just trying to find them.
They're just,
That's the
Okay.
first.
I need a motion to approve PB 2024-1115 Martha Ave.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. And the other one, he
I
moved.
still didn't hear,
Kevin.
Kevin, I didn't hear
Kevin.
you. Okay, Kevin moved. Okay,
he moved.
Rob
He's
seconded.
second.
I seconded.
thank you.
And the one that you don't have from before, Kevin moved,
Kevin moved.
And
That's the
Michelle.
final.
Michelle seconded.
Perfect.
Motion to
So the-
adjourn? At,
So
Yeah, I
moved.
just very quickly. The zoning task force continues to work on all the zoning stuff and we're in the home stretch, so. Just keep saying this, there'll be. A lot of stuff going on. The end of the year and after the holidays.
are we gonna have workshops kind of thing?
Yeah.
Fine.
And we'll have some other housekeeping items on the zoning because the new state. Housing legislation. Is gonna necessitate that we have to do some housekeeping tweaks to some of our existing bylaws just to get them in alignment. So there'll be a. Mix and match of things coming up. So I'm
Okay,
just gonna keep telling you that so you.
Thanks.
You don't
So we're
forget.
not surprised.
okay. Motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good job.